Hey everyone, it's Colbert here with another Rage Legends video. Guys, today we're gonna do a Lightsworn video. So Lightsworn is a Sacred Order defense epic champion, and if you do have him, he's great. And I'm gonna showcase him in the dungeons, maybe arena, of course the clan boss, Ultra Nightmare clan boss. And I'm gonna showcase his skills, of course, if they're fully maxed, his gear and masteries, and how I built him. So first of all, guys, let's look at his ratings. He's got a 4.7 on the clan boss, and I think this is justified because of his skill set. The Fire Knight, of course, 4.8. Arena, offense and defense is 4.5. This means that some people rate him at 5 and others at 4. Reasonable. Minotaurs, of course, because he's a defense champion, it means he's tanky and also does damage, so those kind of champions are always great in the Minotaur. His power is at 44,796, but that doesn't really matter. Let's look at his total skills before we look at each individual piece of equipment. So his health points are around 34,000 health, defense 3.7k, speed at 192. The reason is because I do have a counter attack set up, and the speed I wanted it to be at 192, so he's a bit faster than my Skullcrusher. His critical rate is at 105%. I was trying to get it to 100, but yeah, 100% is fine. I think I might actually drop it and try and get more critical damage, but it's okay where it is right now. Accuracy at 233 in order for his debuffs to stick on the Ultra Nightmare clan boss. So let's look at his, of course, the lifesteal set is necessary for the Ultra Nightmare clan boss. If you use Lightsworn for the clan boss, you need that lifesteal because you need his health to go back up with the procs of his masteries. When you get a Giant Slayer or War Master, when you have a lifesteal set, that's very helpful for each and every champion that has them. Lifesteal set here, we have a critical rate on my gloves. The reason is I wanted to get that as close to 100% possible in order to reduce the RNG of not having a crit. I'm actually over 100%, so I'm never gonna have not a crit because he's a void champion. There's no weak affinity for Lightsworn. So we have some speed, resistance, HP flat, and HP percentage. This is good. I didn't actually put any glyphs here, which is bad by me. I should put them, but yeah. Let's look at his chest. The chest is defense percentage. Of course, that's always great. You need to get it as high as possible. So if you can get it at 60% through a 6-star item, that's even better. But for me, for now, for Lightsworn, because he's a secondary champion for me, I have him at 50% and it's fine. The boots, of course, legendary speed boots with some defense percentage. That's always great at the substat. Accuracy to get as close to 220 to 240. That's optimal for Ultra Nightmare in my view. And of course the top is always a mixture of critical rate, speed, some health. Attack doesn't really work for him. The same thing with each and every item, critical rate and speed. So the accessories are a bit different. Defense on the primary for the ring and defensive substats, that's always good. Critical damage on the amulet, because I'm at that 100% critical rate, I need also some critical damage in order for me to scale up my damage on the boss. And then we do have an accuracy banner, 96 accuracy plus the great hole accuracy that I have, so it's 96. So where's my accuracy? So it's 96, 143 from the artifacts, 80 from the great hole, and another 10 from the masteries. That's amazing amount of accuracy to have. Total 233. So yeah, that's a good amount to go into the Ultra Nightmare clan boss. Let's look at his skills. So he's got 3 skills. His A1 attacks one enemy 3 times, decreases the target's turn meter by 10%. So this is always good to decrease the turn meter. With your A1, it's a 3-hitting A1, so I have to go Giant Slayer with Lightsworn. When you book him up, this increases the damage of the default skill. This does not change the damage done by Giant Slayer or War Master, so don't think that this damage is affects Giant Slayer or War Master. So for A2, this is called Brutality. Attacks one enemy, places a 50% decrease attack debuff and a 30% decrease speed debuff for 2 turns. This is why I like this a lot. Attacks one enemy, places a 50% decrease attack debuff. This is like mandatory in the Ultra Nightmare clan boss. If you do not have a decrease attack debuff, then you're in big trouble. And a 30% decrease speed debuff for 2 turns. This is always great for bosses that are affected by the decreased speed debuff. The clan boss is not affected by this, so it doesn't matter with Lightsworn. So the cooldown is reduced to 3 turns when you book him 4 times. So I have him fully booked, so this is optimal for me to use him. And Indomitable, this is another very good supporting skill that Lightsworn has. Places a 60% increased defense buff and a revive on death buff on all allies for 2 turns. This is a 4-turn cooldown, so you can even use Lightsworn in a revive on death Phoenix setup for Ultra Nightmare. But for here, I'm using him in a counterattack setup, so his speed, his gear is tuned for that kind of reason. So places a 60% increased defense, always great. Increases your damage of defensive champions, and a revive on death in the case you get unlucky. And when you have it on auto, then you might get also lucky and get killed during the time that you have the revive on death buff. If not, then you were unlucky. Anyway, Masteries, of course, guys, I went down. Of course, guys, I went down the offense tree straight to Giant Slayer. I had to take Kill Streak. This does not help you with any damage for the clan boss, but it helps with the dungeons. I had to take this in order for me to get Giant Slayer. I went to get Bring It Down. Of course, this is a mandatory versus the clan boss. Some lifesteal in the case I'm low in health and I need to heal back up. This is always good. So this is a basic offense tree. And for the support tree, I didn't go defense tree. I went support tree because Lightsworn's A2 is an attack down skill. So I want that debuff to get that extra chance for an extra turn through Master Hexer. I do not need Sniper. I would prefer Master Hexer instead. Master Hexer is a 30% chance to extend the duration so that A2 sticks for another round. If it does stick for another round, it means that you can rotate the skills. It's a 3-turn cooldown. It sticks for 3 turns. Then you can keep rotating it if you're lucky, of course. And I also went for Lasting Gifts. The reason is not for the revive and death because this does not work. But the reason was for me to get an extra chance to increase the duration of that 60% increased defense. It's always good when you increase the duration of your buffs and your debuffs. Here I went for Lore of Steel. I know this is a mistake because I do not have a set that benefits from this, but I did use a speed set before this. So yeah, I actually had some benefit from this. And because I do not use him really in the dungeons, I didn't take Evil Eye. Instead, you can use Evil Eye if you want to take him into the dungeons as well or the arena. This is very helpful because his A1 already reduces turn meter. And with Evil Eye, it's going to be another 20% added on the first target hit. Cycle of Magic is always good. Some RNG for you. If you get lucky, you do more skills on the clan boss and the normal accuracy rate when you have a counter attack. So these were the masteries. Let's go into the clan boss, guys, and I'll show you straight from the start how this kind of setup works. I'm going to remove my my Nethril from there. I'm gonna show you how Lightsworn does in the Ultra Nightmare boss. So currently we're under 50%, so the effect of the team is gonna be different just because my Tyrell here is weak affinity. He's gonna be targeted first. It's fine. I think he's gonna be fine in terms of keeping the attack debuff on the boss. I'm gonna have 2 champions that apply it. I'm gonna have some poisons from Venus. I know this is not optimal because Venus cannot apply all 10 debuffs on the spot, but it's fine. And I do have Razin there to remove the buff from the boss. So let's go in and we're gonna see Lightsworn in action. There we go. Venus with her A2, get that defense down the weekend. There we go. The first buff is on. It's fine. The boss is not gonna do that much damage, but the first buff of increased defense is up on both my Razin and my Lightsworn, so both of them are gonna be doing a lot of damage. See that? Did you see that A2, guys? 100,000 crit with only 137 critical damage. So I'm thinking of actually reducing his critical rate to 80% and see if I can get that critical damage a bit higher, maybe closer to 160%. I think it's possible, but again, I'm gonna be sacrificing maybe some defense, and I do not want to do that. I'll try to get my defense as high as possible. So again, now we have 3 turns there on the increased defense. On my Lightsworn, see that 3 turns duration. Decreased attack is at 2 turns now. We're doing good. Let's see Razin. Yeah, he removed the buff from the boss. My only problem with this kind of setup currently is, guys, that I do not have a lot of poisons on. If you can see the debuffs on the boss, there's only 5 debuffs. Currently, they're going to be removed once he gets a turn. So now it's actually more. But yeah, they do get removed. They do not get refreshed. So if I had a champion like Vizier, my team would be so much different and so much better. But yeah. Look at that. So this round should go, I'm expecting about 6 minutes. That's a good amount of time to go for this kind of setup. 6 minutes usually means about 20 million damage. I'm trying to get close to 3 keys. 3 keys in Ultra Nightmare means about 24 million. But it's not easy, especially when you have RNG. The hardest boss right here for me is when I have Spirit. Ultra Nightmare Clan boss, that's the worst for me because my Skullcrusher gets targeted and it messes up my rotation for the counter attack. So we're 2 minutes in right now. I wish we had a damage counter. The thing that we're waiting from Plarium is to give us a damage counter. So what a damage counter would do possibly is we would see our whole team's damage here, and we would know throughout the fight how much damage we're doing, or maybe even better if we had it for each individual champion, so we know how they're doing throughout the fight. So we had 5 bars here showing the damage of each champion. That would be so good. Yeah, Venus is doing very good with her poisons so far, guys. So we do have 6 poisons up. The idea will be to have 7 poisons up at all times. Decrease attack, a weaken, and a defense down. Those are the ideal debuffs you should have on an Ultra Nightmare Clan boss. You see the A1 from Lightsworn there. It's a 3 hitting A1. Each hit for 21,000, so about 60,000 for each A1 skill that he does. That's very good without proccing Giant Slayer. So if he actually did proc Giant Slayer 3 times there, it will be 60,000 plus 67,000 times 3. So yeah, 240,000 just from his A1. But that's RNG. I mean, you might not get even a single one Giant Slayer proc. So we are at 3 minutes 40. My team is looking good except Skullcrusher. There's always an issue with Skullcrusher keeping at full health. I do have him at 100% crit, but still. See, 75,000 there. There we go. 24, 26 from Tyrell. We're doing good, guys. Let's see who gets targeted. Tyrell here. I hope he doesn't die first. He's probably gonna die first because he gets hit way more, but if we keep the decreased attack on the boss, then we have a chance for it to go even further than 6 minutes. If we go 7 minutes, then it's gonna be a great run, and great runs are usually about 25 million for me, but they're not consistent, and this is what you want: consistency in Ultra Nightmare Clan boss. Once you have a consistent team that does above 23 million damage, then you can do it in 3 keys, and possibly then you can do Nightmare in 1 key, so you can do Ultra Nightmare and Nightmare at the same day and get like 4 chests of rewards. My Razin there. Ooh, Tyrell there, very low in health. He went back up. All my team healed back up, I think, except Razin. Razin's a bit low. Ooh, I got resisted there. How did my defense down get resisted? Man, I think, like, oh, Skullcrusher got wrecked there from the AoE. I'm not sure why. I need to check the speeds of my team, but they shouldn't have died there. Skullcrusher shouldn't have died from an AoE. I'm curious to see. There we see the revive on death. Get some a little bit more damage from my team before everyone dies. There we go. So how much damage did we do here? 18 million. That was bad actually, and the reason was because my Skullcrusher died. But yeah, overall I think we did a good amount of damage. 3.6 million. Of course Venus there with 6.4 million because of her poisons, but Lightsworn was very close to Razin. Razin does have much better gear because I use him more in the Ultra Nightmare Clan boss. Lightsworn is more of a, I use him in cases that I have a weak affinity. So Lightsworn was great here. The alternatives would be if I use some other leader in the spot here. But yeah, I'm always trying out setups for Ultra Nightmare Clan Boss. Overall, we did okay, 18 million. So we're currently at 3 keys at 50 million. I'm not sure what happened to the second key. I was away from keyboard. So I probably did very bad at my second or first key. Something very bad happened. So usually my 3 keys are about 60 million. Or yeah, close to 55. But this means that I have to do a very good 4th key for me to actually reach the chest at 4 keys. So next up, guys, we have Fire Knight 20, and this is where Lightsworn shines. I'm going to show you a very basic team that you can use for the Fire Knight. In terms of end game content, you have Arbiter unlocked, you have your 1 Cold Heart at least, you have your Razin because he's a basic fusion. You got Lightsworn for some reason, you pulled him, you leveled him to 60, and now you want to try out a Fire Knight 20 and see if you can get a faster time. We have here Lightsworn that decreases the turn meter, we have Razin, we have Cold Heart, and we also have Tyrell. So if you want to make this faster, you can use something that decreases defense on enemies and also an AoE weaken. So I do have Venus, but I'm not going to use her here because not everyone has a character that does this, like a Venus or a Dracomorph. So let's go in and let's see how fast this team actually clears. I'm hoping at about 3 minutes for a clear. It's all gonna depend on my Cold Heart actually killing the waves very fast. I think we're gonna reach the boss at about 22 minutes. Sorry, at about 2 minutes. So we're at 29 seconds right now. Even if someone dies, the good thing is I do have Arbiter. She's gonna revive. But we're gonna see how much assistance Lightsworn brings to a team in terms of controlling the boss in the Fire Knight. That's where you need a lot of help in controlling the boss. And if you want to get a good time for that Fire Knight, you need to have a team that does not let the boss take a turn. So if you're using a counterattack setup, then it's going to be much harder for you to get a good time for Fire Knight 20. You need a team that keeps the boss at under 10 shields from the start and then keeps his turn meter down. So having a turn meter reduction at A1, it's very crucial. So either using Allure or champions like Lightsworn. But because Allure is a weak champion, it's much different. So 1 minute 20, yeah, that's where we're gonna go. About 2 minutes, we're gonna reach the boss. Yeah, almost 2 minutes. 156, 159, 2 minutes. Yeah, 2 minutes. So 4 shields. Come on, let's take it down. I don't think we're gonna take it down. I need Cold Heart to do something. Cold Heart, take your turn. Oh, she didn't take her turn. If my Lightsworn there actually did his A1 instead of A2, then the boss wouldn't take a turn and probably my Cold Heart would have reduced his turn meter. So this is going to be about 3 minutes 40 for a clear. If we can keep on the turn meter reduction on the boss. Here, reduction from Cold Heart. So even if the boss takes a turn, he's not going to be able to heal back up. Come on, Cold Heart, I want you to do your A3 or maybe Razin. No, he doesn't have it. Oh, there we go. Turn meter reduction from Lightsworn and Cold Heart for the kill. 3 minutes 15. It's not a bad time. It's not a good time either. some adjustments here would be maybe take out Razin and use another cold heart instead. So having 2 cold hearts for that extra bit of damage, yeah, would have been so much better. So guys, this was my Lightsworn champion spotlight. If you do like this champion and do have him at 60, leave a comment down below with your build and masteries. If you do have it different than me, I would love to know what you use differently on Lightsworn, on Ultra Nightmare Clan Boss. So yeah, thanks a lot guys for watching, and of course subscribe if you haven't already. Leave a like down below, and I'll see you in the next one. See you guys.